Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to share with you guys some budget beauty tips. Now I've been doing makeup for over 15 years and along the way I've had lots of personal experiences as well as the help of YouTube when it comes to saving money on beauty products and makeup. So in today's video, I wanted to share with you guys how I fix my broken powder products. And this video isn't my original idea. I actually did learn this on YouTube like 10 years ago. So it's really important to learn how to do this method in fixing your products because not only can you make your products last longer, but you'll save money in your wallet by doing this. So I know that makeup is really expensive, especially in 2025. So this tip that I'm gonna share with you today will not only prolong your makeup, but it will prevent you from completely tossing your broken products and in the long run help save you money. Here are some examples. So right here I have a broken powder, and then in this one, it's actually not broken, but I have hit pan on this. This one isn't broken, but I did hit pan on this face powder. So whenever I use it, it's really hard to get the product on the actual brush because there is kind of like a hole here. So I kind of have to like scrape at the sides and I feel like it makes a mess. Plus there are chunks here that break off and everything just gets really messy. So I'm going to show you guys what I do to fix this. So the tools you'll need for this video is your panned products or broken makeup. And then you will need some type of tool. This is actually a mini makeup spatula that I got on Amazon. I really love using these because they're especially helpful when you have to fix your makeup products, and also whenever you're finished with like a jar foundation, you can just kind of scrape out the product. And I'm actually like a penny pincher when it comes to makeup, so these are just like things that I do to save a little bit of money. So I will link this down below, but this was just super inexpensive. It actually comes in a set of 5 or 6 different size spatulas. So you'll need one of these. And if you don't have that, you can also use toothpick to do this, but that just takes longer. You can use the end of your makeup brush to do this, and you'll need something skinny to kind of break up the powder to make it like a fine dust. You can also sanitize a plastic pen and then just use the bottom to do this. And then you will also need a spray bottle or some cotton balls, and then you'll need a bottle of alcohol. And this is what you'll be mixing your makeup product with. And I just use 70% alcohol. You can use whichever you want. This just helps the makeup dry faster, and it also cleans the makeup. So it's kind of it's a multi-benefit product. So to get started, make sure your hands are clean. Just make sure you have a backup of your face products, especially if you have to use it in the morning, because it does take 1 to 3 days to dry. So just make sure you have a backup. So I'm gonna start with this one here. So with this spatula, I actually can't use this to break up the actual powder because it is like bendy. So I'm going to use this spatula in the second step. But I'm going to take a nice and sturdy end of a makeup brush and I'm just going to start at the corners. And you basically want to press the brush into the product and basically just completely destroy the face powder. In this one, just make sure you do it slow. That way it doesn't get messy. I like to kind of center my powder towards the middle. And then I like to break up the chunks and I just basically press the end to break it up. And you'll want to just like basically do this entire thing. So do this all the way around. So I'm gonna go ahead and speed up this process. And I want to make sure that all of my chunks are pressed because I just feel like if it gets too crumbly, you'll get so much fallout when you're actually using this. So I'm going to use the end of a glass bottle to kind of press it up a little bit. So then once I've done that, I'm pretty happy with the size of this. So I'm just gonna kind of like center everything in the middle. And that's like when my little spatula comes into good use. So once I've done that, I will take my alcohol. And I like to use a cotton pad, but you can also use an empty spray bottle and just spray the alcohol on the product. But I just do this because I don't have a spray bottle. So I just basically fill my cotton bottle with alcohol. And I fill it up enough for it to feel like heavy. And I basically just squeeze a little bit at a time over the face powder. And this one still needs a little more. And I have been doing this for so many years, so I can kind of gauge how much alcohol to put in. But if you're new to doing this, then I would suggest just doing it a little bit at a time. And then once it's all saturated, you're gonna kind of want to make a paste. This is basically similar to making like brownies or cake mix. And you don't want to put too much because you want to make sure that this dries. Because once this dries, it will dry into a fine like powder. And if you put like too much product, then it'll end up being like a face cream, which you don't want. And then make sure you get like all the sides. And I feel like I put a little bit too much. Normally I have mine like thicker. So then once it's thoroughly mixed, I like to just put everything in the very center away from the sides. That way you can just not have any problems with it. That way you don't have any problems with it, or you can just refill the sides. Because I have a lot, I'm just gonna spread it out a little more. But like once you get to a product that's like nearly close to being done, especially when it comes to like eyeshadows, I like to center mine like towards the middle. So yeah, it looks like I put way too much alcohol on this, so I think it will dry. We'll just check on it in the morning. And as you can see, it kind of dried on my finger. So when it does dry, this is kind of the consistency. So you'll still be able to get some use out of this. Now the product isn't going to be like 100% the same, but you just kind of have to like work with it a little bit. And then once I'm done mixing it, I like to take my makeup wipe and just kind of clean up around the pan. And it's basically going to be good as new. Now, I don't plan on using this in the morning, but you can set this out open in a closed bathroom. Make sure no kids or pets are in there. I just like to close mine just so I don't have like any like bugs or anything go in it. And because mine is wet, this will probably take 3 to 4 days to dry, but I just set it somewhere in a flat surface. And for my already broken Revlon bronzer, this broke. Like, this is actually like one of my favorite bronzers, and I unfortunately dropped it all over the floor and half of my bronzer spilled out, but I was able to like save it. And basically just the same thing, just kind of break up the product. And then what I'm doing here for this one is I'm just kind of flattening it out a little bit. It's kind of like when you make brownies and you have to flatten out the bladder, not the bladder. When you have to flatten out the batter. And it doesn't have to be perfect because you are gonna basically be using this, so. All right, so that's what it should look like. So I'm just gonna leave these two in my bathroom to dry, but yes, you can basically use this method with any of your beauty products, with bronzers, face powder, eyeshadow, and blush. And I'll actually share with you guys an eyeshadow that I had to fix earlier this year. So this middle blue eyeshadow completely shattered, and I just basically used the same method, so you can kind of see what to expect when it's dried. And it is a little bit crumbly, so whenever you use eyeshadow especially, you just want to either use your finger or just be extra gentle with the brush. And I like to just kind of like press down on the product before using it. Here's this little swatch test. So it's just basically like good as new. It's never gonna look as pretty as the ones that aren't broken, but you still get your use out of it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little makeup tip, and let me know if you've tried this out. I do plan on making more tips as soon as I can come up with some good ones. Give this video a like, and please subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.